All right, guys, this next video is a video for frog stretch, PAILs and rails. Remember, PAILs and rails is an acronym. PAILs is progressive angular isometric loading. Rails is regressive angular isometric loading. All that means is we're gonna first do isometric loading, which means tension with no movement, and isometric, like into the progressing angle. So in this frog stretch, my legs are opening. So the progressing angle is that angle of the legs opening, right? So that would be us pushing into the floor. I'll explain more once I'm in that position. And then rails is going to be the other way, so the regressive angle. So if my legs come out to the side, right? This angle is the regressive angle. So you're loading into that regressive angle, and because you're already in your in range of motion, you can't move any further, so it becomes an isometric. All right, so for our frog stretch, for the position, right, we want to do our best to get the inside of the knees down to the floor. You might not be flexible or mobile enough to do so. That's fine. Just do it to the best of your ability. So I'm here, right, inside the knees are down on the ground. I'm looking for my shins to be at a 90-degree angle, right, and then the inside of my foot to the floor, right, if you can see that. From there, all right, coming down to the elbows, I want to keep a nice long spine so we're never rounded under, right? Just like the bottom of a squat, right? You want to think your tailbone is kind of pointed upwards. From there, if you can, without losing that position of your pelvis, so not letting it round under, then start to rock back. So for me, this is pretty much the end of my stretch. If I start to rock back further, eventually I'm just going to kind of round under. All right, so now you're gonna hang out here for a passive stretch for 60 seconds. If you have more time and feel that you want more of a stretch, you could even hold the passive portion for about a minute. All right, so now going into the PAILs contraction, right? So PAILs contraction will be pushing our shins into the floor. So that's gonna be, think your knee and your foot, right, pushing in the ground. If I could somehow read the pressure in the floor, you would feel more pressure into the ground. We're gonna be working this stuff that we feel stretching, all right? So I'm just gonna go for about 20 seconds, pushing down into the floor. I'm feeling all of the muscles in my groin and maybe even some of the outside of the hips start to work, all right? That stuff that I feel stretching on the inside of the leg, I should feel starting to contract. All right, so let's say it's been the prescribed time, then I'm going to rails contraction. So a rails contraction, imagine as if I was gonna pick my entire shin off of the floor. So not just lifting the knees, but the goal would be to try to lift the entire leg, all right? So you're not gonna see much, but from here, I'm trying to lift off. Should hopefully feel some muscles on the outside of the hip starting to work, or maybe more of a stretch in the groin. And then you would hold for the prescribed sets and reps. Just remember on this one, the sensations that I would not want you to feel are any sort of pain, tugging on the inside of the knee so it doesn't feel like your adductor or your groin muscles. It feels like your knee stuff, right? Or then second would be pinching on the outside of the hips. So especially in rails, if I'm trying to lift out to the side here and it feels like the side of my hips are pinching, not cramping like your muscles are working, but pinching, those would be no-goes. Either back out of the position and just try maybe a little bit more gentle, or if that option wouldn't work well for you, just do some hip cars or another hip movement that you do find you get a good stretch out of.